Tonight on Global Television News Prime, President Tinubu appoints new heads for National Intelligence Agency, Department of State Services. Economic Community of West African States ECOWAS Parliament pushes for free movement. In business, Nigeria Delta Power Holding Company vows to drive change with tech talent. On the foreign scene, Ukraine says 6 killed in most massive Russian airstrike. And in sports, Swedish football manager Sven Goran Eriksson dies, aged 76. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365 and free to air on Nigecomsat. Let's begin tonight by telling you President Bola Tinubu has appointed Ambassador Mohammed as the new Director General of the National Intelligence Agency and Diola Ajayi as the new Director General of the Department of State Service, DSS. Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Ajuri Ngalale, made this known in a statement in Abuja, noting that Mohammed, a seasoned foreign service officer, has had a distinguished career spanning over 2 decades, serving in various roles and countries, including North Korea, Pakistan, Sudan, and Libya. Similarly, he says Ajayi, the new Department of State Service chief, has risen through the ranks, serving as state director in several states, including Bauchi, Enugu, Bayelsa, Rivers, and Kogi. At least 35 people have been killed, with over 50,000 others across 17 local government areas displaced following heavy flooding in several parts of Jigawa State. The state's emergency management agency says several farmlands have been washed away by floodwaters across the affected areas. Global Television's Jibrain Idris has more.
Abdu Inwa is a subsistence farmer in Kiawa local government area of Jigawa State. He watched helplessly how his only farm was washed away by the flood. With 2 wives and 10 children, Inwa is now at the mercy of the state government or anyone willing to assist.
Here is my farmland, and I spent so many thousands of naira here. And I depend upon God and I depend upon this farming. As you are watching me, everything is cleared out away by this heavy rainfall. Even the person who has 74 to 75 years, he didn't experience this.
Residents have lost their only means of survival and resorted to seeking refuge in schools and mosques.
All this area is like a valley. So whenever rain fall to all the places like Sabongari and many other places, the water will be coming down here. And whenever it comes down here, it has no exit to go out. So that is why it will overflow all these areas, because if you look at inside here, it is about 1,000 of houses where some are collapsed and all the people inside have migrated from the place because of the flooding.
Jigawa State has 27 local government, out of which 17 are affected by the flood. The government says over 50,000 people are currently displaced across the affected local government areas.
The death toll now is almost 35. Okay. Well, you know, it keep on increasing. Even the IDPs keep on increasing because of the continued rain. Before we assumed that it is only the dam that will give us this havoc. But unfortunately, it's not the dam now. It's just the heavy downfall. Which about 53,000 persons that are displaced, that are affected. In a household, you will see 5-10 people that are involved.
As one of the poorest states in northern Nigeria, but the most agriculturally viable in the country, Jigawa farming communities have so far lost almost all their entire harvest to flood, as residents expressed concern over imminent food shortage this year. Idris Jibrain, Global Television News.
Well, thank you for your reporting tonight, Idris. The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS Parliament, has convened in Banjul, the Gambia, to advance the implementation of a crucial protocol that facilitates the free movement of persons, the right of residence, and the establishment of businesses across the region. The protocol, initially adopted on 29 May 1979, is a cornerstone of ECOWAS's vision for deeper regional integration and economic cooperation among its member states. In its opening remarks, the Gambia's Minister of Trade, Industry, Regional Integration and Employment, Baboucarr Diouf, reaffirmed his country's commitment to the principles of regional integration. And back home, President Bola Tinubu has vowed to keep promoting the rule of law, adhere to the principles of separation of powers, and tolerate dissenting views with the ambit of the laws of Nigeria, stating that his administration had made steady progress in the effort to rebuild the country through legal and judicial reforms. The president spoke in Lagos when he declared open the annual General Conference of the Nigerian Bar Association. Tinubu, who was represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, acknowledged the association's sterling history of championing democratic ideals as well as promoting the rule of law. Tinubu implored Nigerian lawyers and other citizens to join hands with his administration in resolutely working towards a Nigeria of everyone's dreams. In a related development, Director General of the World Trade Organization, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, has stressed the urgent need for Nigeria to move beyond political infighting and inconsistent policies that have hindered the country's development since independence. Okonjo-Iweala spoke at the Nigerian Bar Association annual conference held in Lagos. She also said that collective efforts rather than a blame game are needed to move the nation forward. Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, says the West African Examination Council, WAEC, has been directed by the federal government to enforce the 18-year age requirement for candidates wishing to take the exams. WAEC oversees the senior school certificate examination, and according to Professor Mamman, the policy is not new. Mamman also pointed out that this policy aligns with the typical education trajectory. Former Nigerian President Chief Olusegun Obasanjo has stated that the widespread of poverty in Africa is man-made and not an act of God. Obasanjo made this statement at the opening ceremony of the Festac Africa Festival at the Jomo Kenyatta Stadium in Kisumu, Kenya. The former president remarked that given the continent's abundant resources, there is no reason for its poverty. Ekiti State Government has called on local council authorities to exercise fiscal discipline and allocate resources judiciously to improve conditions at the grassroots level. Commissioner for Local Government Affairs, Folorunsho Olabode, urged local governments to prioritize the needs of their communities and agriculture in their 2025 budget to address residents' needs and ensure food security. The workshop, organized by the Ministry of Local Government Affairs in collaboration with the Budget, Economic Planning and Performance Management Departments, is aimed at educating council officials on setting up the medium-term expenditure framework, a 3-year rolling plan aligning budgeting processes with developmental goals to ensure sustainable growth. The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has denied claims that over 600 Nigerian pilgrims remained in Saudi Arabia after performing lesser Hajj in the country. Former Kaduna Central Senator Shehu Sani, in a tweet on his official X handle, had made the claim, raising concerns about the Saudi authorities tightening visa rules. However, the Commission's Deputy Director of Public Affairs, Fatima Usara, denied the claims, noting that neither the Saudi nor Nigerian authorities had a record of such persons. Sokoto State Government says it will investigate claims made by the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, regarding the alleged theft and sale of nutrition supplements donated to the state to improve the health of malnourished children. The fund's Chief of Field Office of Sokoto, Kebbi and Zamfara States, Michael Juma, had raised the alarm during a quarterly policymakers meeting in the state. He said the supplements provided by donors and distributed to healthcare centers across various communities were misappropriated by individuals within the system who colluded with traders to sell them to unintended recipients. Delta and Kogi states have activated their camps for internally displaced persons after the federal government alerts both states alongside Niger, Kwara, Anambra and Imo of an impending rise of the River Niger water level. Minister of Finance Wale Edun made the disclosure that the National Economic Council has approved 3 billion naira to support farmers in Kebbi and other states affected by flooding. The flooding advisory to the states came on the heels of the warning issued by the Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency regarding the increasing volumes of River Niger. Let's turn to other stories tonight. The proposed meeting between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, initially scheduled for today, has been postponed. The union's president, Emmanuel Oshodoke, confirmed that the meeting, which was previously announced by the Minister of Education, will no longer hold. Although no reason was given for the postponement, the meeting is now expected to take place on Wednesday, August 28th. Kaduna State Governor Senator Uba Sani has inaugurated the Kaduna State Skills Development Council to tackle the skills deficits and youth unemployment across the state. The governor says the council will develop a skill development framework, strategic implementation plan, and an annual action plan to address youth unemployment in the state. In his remarks during the inauguration, Governor Sani emphasized the importance of investing in human capital to equip youth with skills to respond to the fast-changing needs of the 21st century and contribute to the state's economic development. Troops of the 1 Division Nigerian Army, Kaduna, have killed a terrorist and recovered a cache of arms and ammunition during a clearance operation in the state. Acting Deputy Director, Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Musa Yahaya, in a statement in Kaduna, said the operation was conducted in the general areas of Sabon Breni, Dongon Dawa, Medaru, Ngede Alpha, and Rafin Kaji. He said during the operation, troops made contact with terrorist elements, leading to a firefight that resulted in the killing of 1 terrorist, while others fled with suspected gunshot injuries. Similarly, bandits have abducted over 150 persons and rustled over 1,000 cattle in some villages in Gobir Emirate of Sokoto State. The incident happened a few days after the death in kidnappers' den of the Emir of Gobir, Isa Muhammad Bawa, who was also the district head of Gatawa. Hundreds of youths in the area eventually staged protests after the killing of the district head, forcing the state government to impose a curfew on Sabon Breni. You're watching News Prime on Global Television, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja, when News Prime returns tonight. Ukraine says 6 killed in most massive Russian air attack. We have those details and more stories for you. When we return, we urge you to stay with us. This is Global Television bringing you live broadcast of the News Prime with Uyi Agmofwegbe. Thank you for your time with us. Now let's turn to business for you. President Bola Tinubu will officially inaugurate the upgraded West Africa Container Terminal in Rivers State on September 4. In a statement, West Africa Container Terminal said the facility located within the oil and gas free zone in One, Rivers State, has undergone a significant upgrade which began in 2021. The terminal is operated by APM Terminals and regarded as Nigeria's largest and most efficient container terminal outside Lagos. The federal government has declared that the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, does not have the funds required to rebuild old pipelines. Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heineken Lokbobiri, stated this at the Energy and Labour Summit 2024, organized by the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria in Abuja. Lokbobiri, while speaking about the divestment of international oil companies and the need to ramp up production, emphasized that Nigeria also needs to repair its pipelines, which he said are old, corroded, and expired. The gross domestic product, GDP, of Nigeria has grown by 3.19% in the second quarter of 2024, driven by growth in the services sector. The report indicated that second quarter GDP performance is driven by the services sector, which grew by 3.79% and contributed about 58.76% to the total GDP. The agricultural sector experienced modest growth, expanding by 1.41%, slightly down from the 1.50% growth rate recorded in second quarter of 2023. Meanwhile, the industry sector rebounded strongly, posting a 3.53% growth compared to a contraction of minus 1.94% in the second quarter of last year. Now, there are indications that the federal government committee that was set up to ensure the implementation of crude oil sales to local refineries in Naira will further discuss the pricing of premium motor spirits, popularly called petrol, to be released by the Dangote Petroleum Refinery next month. Multiple officials, both among oil marketers and members of the Implementation Committee on Crude Oil Sales in Naira, under the leadership of the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, have confirmed that the panel will be holding a series of meetings this week and in coming weeks on their development. The Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC, says the lack of proper identification of investors is a key factor contributing to unclaimed dividends. Speaking during a recent interview, the Commission's Director General, Emotimi Agama, said this was identified as a major challenge by the Commission and the Committee for Identity Management of the Capital Markets. He stated that technology would play a crucial role in addressing this challenge, with the SEC working to ensure that investors are properly identified to facilitate the payment of dividends. Elsewhere, the new managing director of the Niger Delta Power Holding Company, Jennifer Adigije, has committed to driving positive change within the organization by harnessing technology and human capital. During the handover ceremony in Abuja, Adigije expressed gratitude for a smooth transition and thanked President Bola Tinubu, as well as Vice President Kashif Shettima, for the opportunity to serve. And now let's take it beyond the shores of Nigeria. Civilians are among the dozens of people killed in an attack by militants in Burkina Faso. That's according to local security forces. Jihadist rebels affiliated with Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group have waged grinding insurgency since 2015 in Burkina Faso that has killed thousands and displaced 2 million people. The latest attack was carried out by armed men in the village of Basalogo in north-central Burkina Faso. Away from Africa, Russia has launched one of its biggest attacks on Ukraine of the war so far. The head of the Ukrainian Air Force has said at least 6 people have been killed and dozens wounded as missiles and drones were fired into more than half of Ukraine's regions. Power infrastructure was hit, causing widespread blackouts as the entire country was put under air raid alert and told to take shelter. Russia also confirmed it had launched attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure, one of its long-term tactics, and said all its targets were hit. The barrage of missile and drone attacks began across the country overnight on Monday and continued into the morning. In our time for sports, Nigeria's 8-man table tennis squad to the 2024 Paralympics in Paris, tutored by Nasiru Sule, says it is determined to bring medals home from the event that begins on Thursday, August 29. The Paralympics starts on Wednesday, August 28 and run till September 8. The Nigerian team of 6 men and 2 women will compete in doubles, mixed doubles, and singles events. Impressed with his heroics in the CAF Confederation Cup against El Kanami, Cheetahs of Benin Republic coach Gernot Rohr has hinted about the inclusion of Daje FC goalkeeper Karim Rahman in his list of players to prosecute next month's 2025 Africa Cup of Nations duel against Nigeria and Libya. Rohr described Daje's win over the Nigerian side as a moral booster and stated that Rahman, who impressed in the match, will be listed for the upcoming international matches for the Cheetahs. And now on the sad note, Swedish football manager Sven-Göran Eriksson, who coached England from 2001 to 2006, has died at the age of 76 after a battle with pancreatic cancer. His agent, Bo Gustavsson, says he passed peacefully this morning with his family around him at his home. A good thing is he left a very sterling legacy, at least in the world of football. As News Prime comes to an end, let's take a look at some of our top stories tonight. President Bola Tinubu has appointed new heads for National Intelligence Agency and Department of State Services. Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS Parliament, has announced its plan to push for free movement. And in business, Niger Delta Power Holding Company has expressed resolve to drive change with tech and talent. And on the foreign scene, Ukraine has revealed that 6 people have been killed in what it called most massive Russian air attack. Finally, in sports, we told you Swedish football manager Jean-Göran Eriksson has died at the age of 76. And that's all we have for you tonight on News Prime, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We are on DSTV, channel 365, Star Times, channel 276, and free to air on Nigecomsats parameters showing on the screen. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms using our Global TV NG and other handles as you now see. I am Uyi Agmofwegbe. On behalf of the entire production team here at Global Television in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, we say thank you for spending a part of your time with us. I'll see you again.